All right, everybody. Oh my God, we are back. Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence Daily MMA podcast recap for April 2nd, 2020. This is my second shot at this motherfucker because the internet keeps killing me during this. So I already cracked open the New English Brewing Company Blueberry Blonde that, not an ad read, and not in the normal way where I say it's an ad read and it's not an ad read. This actually isn't an ad read, but it was given to me for free. I got a care package from the guy, one of my buddies over at New English, who brought me a 6-pack of this. He brought me a 6-pack of the what is it? I believe it's Hop Slapped, which is one of their newer IPAs, and he brought me a couple of their barrel aged stuff, which was cool. And then Blueberry Blonde was actually one that you guys heard us talk about on the show. Chris has been trying to get me to try it for a while. And spoiler, since this is my second take on this video, because shouts to my motherfucking internet, this actually it's very it's a very much a blonde ale, which you don't see a lot nowadays. Not a lot of people do blonde ales anymore. I know Mission Brewery did a blonde that was pretty popular for a long time. Trying to think about other blondes. No, I don't remember. I want to say that Carl Strauss might have had a blonde at one point, but I don't remember off the top of my head. They've been around so long. I'm sure they've done a blonde, but I don't remember if they used to have one in their core line. I know they don't anymore because they have like stuff like the Endless Summer and stuff like that. But not very hop forward. At least definitely not in terms of like it's not at all like fruity or tropical or floral or anything. Very like just straight bittering hop and malt, pretty malt forward. It's really good though. Good blueberry on the nose, especially. But it definitely has some blueberry flavor to it. And also it's 6%, I believe, which is pretty crazy. I like this quite a bit. Like, if you like blueberry muffins, you probably like this beer. Like, you could probably crush a couple. Actually, this is probably a great... You know what? A lot of people right now are drinking in hours what they didn't used to. This is a great breakfast beer, if I was to suggest one. If you want something to go with pancakes, I feel like Blueberry Blonde from New English is probably a fucking real good choice. Hashtag not an ad read. I just enjoy this shit. But I was giving it for free, so really, I'm biased as shit. Well, and also... It's beer, y'all. Let's see. So today's been a very long day. I have internet problems. I definitely took too many shots of Popov before doing this because I was editing. Oh, I should mention off top, our video is about to be posted after this is done. Hopefully, hey, look, good. The post-processing on our commentary is done. Chris and I, after last week's episode 152, we recorded a commentary track for UFC Fight Night 7, which is the event that the very first, ironic that it comes out today, because it's the very first event that took place in UFC San Diego. Ironic, of course, because UFC San Diego, that was supposed to happen on May 16th, was canceled today officially after the CSAC said they're no longer allowing fights through May. Which is the right move, and I'm glad they did it. I didn't even bother looking for tickets because it was going to happen. But kind of a bummer. So it's kind of fortunate that we ended up going and doing a commentary track for the very first UFC event, which is a really fucking cool event. It took place at the Miramar station, MCAS Miramar, I believe, which is like, what is it, Marine Academy, or no, Marine Air or something. Yeah, you guys can tell I did a lot of time in the military. They definitely let people like me in. Oh my god, my internet's tanking again. Is the internet back? Because I'll fucking just kill myself on the stream if it makes it easier. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Okay, hopefully that's working. It says it's working for a second, and then it's not working again. Oh, this is so fun. Here, I'm just gonna say here, why don't everybody enjoy a drink with me? It's what everybody should be doing. Actually, evidently it is what everybody's doing right now with drinking, so. Okay, it looks like it's a little bit better. Like I was saying, we did the commentary track for the first UFC card in San Diego, so big shouts to that. It's a lot of fun. It's a really good card. It's a banger of a card, and I was definitely drunk and should not have had 100 mils of an edible before that, but had fun. So hopefully you guys do too. Strongly recommend like a 3-drink minimum going into that though. Maybe a 2-drink minimum if you're like the Jake Smith type who gets hammered off a White Claw and a half because you don't drink that much. Let's see. So I'll get into the stuff I listened to today. I started off the day, of course, not for real. I listened to It's the Real out the gate like I do every morning nowadays ever since the shit started. Yeah, quarantine radio. God damn it, I do that every day now. It's embarrassing to do it every day. Quarantine radio has been a huge comfort in my life. And it makes mornings not as rough. I don't know. I bet a lot of people know what it's like waking up hungover during a pandemic. Not fun. Especially if you're still working right now. It's doubly not fun. So I've just found that show really like helps get my day going and stay positive and all that shit, even if people are saying crazy shit on it sometimes. I don't know. It's super comforting, to be honest. And also Eric and Jeff Rosenthal are just fucking hilarious. They have been ever since their days on Hype Men with Jensen Karp way back in the day. There's an OG podcast reference. You guys want to look up a really good old hip-hop podcast from like, God, it's got to be almost a decade ago. I want to say that was like 2011, maybe earlier. Look up Hype Men, Hypemen, since I do have a little bit of a stuffed nose, so I'm not sure. Hey, look. All of a sudden, OBS is sending fucking packets again. I just had to reset my goddamn network adapter. That's a lot of fun. Anyway, now that I'm in a great mood to kick this shit off, because I fucking hate everything, and I want it all to burn. I guess I'm in good times for that. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, here's what I listened to today. I don't know how much you heard of what I said. It's the real, their fuck. I did it again, even though I just talked about fucking it up. Quarantine radio. It's really good. It's comforting. Unlike my motherfucking internet right now. Hey, big shouts out to Cox, who decided to cancel my motherfucking internet last week, and now can't send me a goddamn signal to save my fucking life, even though I pay for the highest tier, and it's all unlimited. Jesus Christ. Okay, so, on a more upbeat note, here's what else I listened to today. So, A-Side Live Chat for April 1st was really good. It's a lot of them talking about Teflon John and all of that fucking craziness. They did say they're going to be doing a fight flashback for UFC 199, which I'm pretty excited about. And actually, as you guys heard, if you listened to their episode last week, they did a fight flashback for UFC 189, and it looks like Heavy Hands also just posted basically a commentary track for UFC 189 as well on there. I believe it's on their Patreon, so that should be dope. That's on my list to listen to tomorrow, or maybe tonight, if I don't pass out from the amount of vodka I'm have to drink after this stream. And it's Popov, so you know it's gonna turn out real well. Oh, let's see, what else did I listen to? Eurobash episode 76 was very solid. I've really been liking the content PT has been doing, and Niall's been doing really good interviews on there as well. They start off with an interview with Joe. Well, they start off talking about whether UFC is putting on cards because of Dana's ego or financial strain. And then from there, it's a bunch of egos, stuff like an interview with JoJo Calderwood about her fight and it getting moved back because of, I believe it wasn't talked about specifically in the episode. That's because of Valentina's leg injury. Niall had an interview with Nicholas Dalby talking about his, just like what he's up to right now. There was an interview with Morgan Charrier, who talks about his Cage Warriors fight falling through and kind of the fallout of all that. And then there's an interview with Pedro Carvalho, which is good as well. Let's see. I'll listen to Punch Drunk. Actually, wait. Let me get to other stuff first before I talk about a fucking podcast that's just pure chaos. Oh, right. Speaking of pure chaos, the Gorgeous George and Goes show, which is their the MMA Junkie guys, they have a Patreon. This was episode 65, I believe. Man, I think I'm not going to do skips anymore during all this because it feels shitty. Anybody putting out content, it feels shitty to say they shouldn't, like, their content's not worth listening to because everybody needs content right now. So I'm probably going to stop using skips, at least for the time being. However, if there was going to be a skip on this week's episode, fuck, man. Gorgeous George has the worst echo on his mic. It sounds like he's in a fucking stadium in the 90s. I'm guessing what's happening is his audio is bleeding over into Goza's audio. And so it's picking up on both mics, but since there's a slight delay between them, it's rough, man. Luckily, he doesn't talk that much during it, but it's rough. And then on top of that, he basically just stands out for Malky and Ali a lot during this episode because Richard Hunter's trying to talk about how a lot of stuff, like how managers in MMA just run their fucking mouth on Twitter and like just talk shit to everybody and don't act professional at all, and how it's just a bunch of fucking clown shoes like pro wrestling bullshit. And then Gorgeous George compares Malky to Suge Knight at one point, and Richard's like, yeah, that's a good comparison, but it's not positive. And Gorgeous George's like, yeah, no, but I mean, you know, it's like there's an intimidation factor, and that's what makes them good men. It's like, no, it's what makes them bad managers, in fact. It's literally what makes them poor managers. Managers aren't supposed to work on intimidation, because that doesn't work in literally any other business. Except for the carny business, which it works great in. So, what do I know? But also, I think Malky and his brother and Ali are probably the worst people in the sport. Outside of... No, actually, I was going to say outside of anyone associated with Kadyrov, but a lot of that's thanks to Ali. So, what are you going to do? Yeah, it's a very frustrating episode for a lot of reasons. Man. Let's see. I also listened to How I Met the Mat, which is going to be one of my new shows this week. This was episode 1, and this is Bill Welker of MMA on the Rocks has a new show where he's talking about how people got into MMA, and his first guest was Steve Maraboli from the, you guys would know him from the MMA and Beyond podcast with Ray Longo. He's like the guy who kind of runs a lot of that. And yeah, I liked it quite a bit. A lot of talk about Henzo's and the Henzo's gym in New York, since they both are kind of affiliates all through that kind of. And yeah, they talk about rolling together. A lot of jiu-jitsu talk. I liked it quite a bit. I like everything Bill does, but that was a really fun episode. And I'm excited to see what he has going for that show going forward. I listened to Punch Drunk Sports episode 386, which is just a shit show. Like that show normally is, but very much a shit show. I did appreciate Jason Tebow, notorious alcoholic, and just my favorite mess. That's how I would describe Jason Tebow. He does like a professional alky breakdown of the John Jones incident. He's like, when you have half a bottle of mezcal in your car that you're driving with your gun, that like. You gotta realize that he didn't have like a giant bottle. It was like a 2-night bottle. it's fucking so good. It's really good. That whole take is great. The rest of the show is not MMA related. I guess they talk a little bit about 249, but like barely. Then it's a lot of talk about Fight Danny getting pregnant and Sam Tripoli just deleting emails. It's weird. It's a weird show. I don't know that I recommend it, but Teeb's take was great. And then lastly, I just finished listening to MMA Depressed Us, which I believe is episode 47. I didn't know they numbered these, but they just randomly started numbering them, which I fucking love. But this was Adesanya versus Romero, where they watch... Oh my god, this is maybe the hardest MMA Depressed Us to get through. And not because like they were hilarious, but these fights are brutal as shit. I believe it was Saperbek Safarov versus Nico. It's Negumarianu. I believe that's how you say it. It's been a while. and that fight's not good. But it's not nearly as bad as Pennington versus Holm, where Holly Holm fucking stole another fight off of Raquel Pennington. Especially, go rewatch that fight. Holly Holm held her against the cage and didn't do shit. Holly Holm held her against the cage and threw punches at air like she does in every fight since the first Raquel Pennington fight, except for Ronda Rousey and Bethe Correia, who just sprinted into head kicks. And it's awful, but Rocky Pennington clearly wins that shit. And yeah, it's a really good. I like that episode quite a bit. And then lastly, they watched an even more brutal. How do you go more brutal from Holly Holm to versus Raquel Pennington 2? You go to Izzy versus Yoel. And boy, is that fight bad. Also on rewatch, I'm pretty sure Izzy lost the shit out of that fight. Like, badly. At least 3 rounds, maybe 4 rounds. He just didn't do shit. He did a lot of feinting, but feinting does not win you at anything. And Romero landed like 3 punches around, like 3 or 4 times. So, yeah, it's brutal. It's really brutal. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So that's what I got through so far. Things I have lined up. I may or may not get to the Between Rounds episode TJ DeSantis did with Eddie Bravo on coronavirus. Because you gotta imagine that's going to be a mess. And that's one of the things I will listen to maybe if I'm hammered or if I just need, I don't know, a weird take on things. I have it on my list. I don't know that I'll get to it. Things I am definitely getting to. Morning Wood Show, episode 52. They're back for the first time in, I want to say, over a year. I can't even remember the last. Here, actually, let me see if I search episode 51, if there's a date on that motherfucker, which I assume there would be. It was on... Yeah, it was 1 year ago. Fucking SoundCloud doesn't give you a goddamn date, but it was a year ago. June 12th, 2018. Okay, so wow, it was almost 2 years ago. Holy shit. Yeah, so that show's back, evidently, which is crazy. If you guys don't know, since you would have had to be listening to this show almost 2 years ago to know, the Morning Wood Show is a show hosted by Dean Thomas and Tyron Woodley. And I really used to like the shit out of it. So I'm excited to hear that that's back. Don't know what it means, other than the fact that Tyron Woodley and Dean Thomas are probably bored as shit. But I'm excited to check it out. Mookie and Crookie, episode 64 is on my list. The Fight Site has a new show called Wrestling for MMA, which they put out episode 2 this week. I'm excited to check that out. Loudmouth MMA has a new show called The Last One Standing. I'm excited to check that out. Now that I think about it, there's also a new show from Mike Heck called What the Heck with Mike Heck. That's what it's called, right? Let me double check that to make sure I am actually getting it right, because I like Mike Heck quite a fucking bit. And, oh my god, how do you find Mike Heck's Twitter without going... Oh, I'm just gonna have to go to fucking Twitter. Twitter. It's your boy, Mike Heck. I don't know why I made Mike Heck sound like Action Jackson from whatchamacallit. Let's see. Let me make sure I got the name of this show right. It is, because it's easy to screw up. Yeah, it is What the Heck with Mike Heck. Okay, perfect. So I'm excited to check that out. On the first episode, I believe he has Mickey Gall, Dom Cruz, Valerie Lareta, and John Anik. So I'm definitely going to give that one a listen. MMA Roasted, episode 494. Who is on this? Oh, Ben Askren and Mayhem and Greg Wilson, maybe? No. Destiny Yarborough. So I'm excited to get to that one. And then, also, this past weekend, non-MMA related, this past weekend, Theo Von's show he had Bhagavan Doc Antle on, which if you guys have seen Tiger King, you know, well, number one, you know that bitch Carol Baskins killed that dude. And number 2, Bhagavan Doc Antle is gonna talk some weird southern shit with Theo in that episode, and I'm into it. And Theo's gonna ask all the weird sex questions, so that'll be fun. Heavy Hands, episode 310. I'm really excited for. It's MMA Impressed Us, where they watch some of their favorite fights, if I remember right. Oh, biggest turning points in MMA history is, I believe, the description on that one. So I'm super excited for that. Almost as excited as I am for the Heavy Hands Patreon bonus episode for UFC 189, which they did a commentary episode, and I'm extremely excited for that. That's going to be cool as hell. And then lastly, Protect Your Neck, the live chat, episode 3. I'm excited for it too. So a lot of good stuff out there. And I'm excited to check it out. I'm also excited to talk podcast with Chris. I'm guessing we're recording Saturday again. And we're probably doing another commentary episode. I don't know what movie yet. I think we've done pretty much every movie that The Athletic talked about in their article, except for Red Belt, which is probably pretty decent, and that's why we haven't covered it. It's made by the dude who made Glengarry Glen Ross, Mammoth. And then the other one was, we haven't done The Fighter, Warrior, is that the name of that fucking movie? We haven't done that because it's actually a good movie. It's not really as fun. We're just going to be sitting there watching a movie quietly while I slowly get hammered and start making inappropriate jokes. Which isn't nearly as fun as Supreme Champion or fucking Fight Valley, which I'm so glad Fernanda's on board with because it's my favorite. I love Fight Valley, but Supreme Champion's up there. It's really good, bad. So we will figure out if you guys have any MMA movie recommendations. Let us know. We may jump into that. And I guess I'll sign off, and I will see you guys tomorrow for yet another episode of this show. If you guys like it, hit thumbs up, hit subscribe, hit the bell. It'll tell you when we're active. All that shit helps the channel and helps get views on it. And other than that, check out our I'm gonna be uploading the video shortly after this of our commentary track. It's just the audio version I say video because I'm uploading it to YouTube. It's just audio, but it was a lot of fun, and that card is really fucking good. So even if you don't listen to the commentary, go watch UFC on UFC Fight Night 7, Sanchez versus Riggs. It's really good. Also, fuck Fight Pass for making it so hard to find that card. You can't search it. I tried every single search phrase. It does not work. You have to literally go to the year 2006 in their archive of UFC events and then find it that way. But anyway, we're going to wrap this here. Everybody go enjoy some Blueberry Blonde from New English. It's real good. I do not believe they're delivering in San Diego, or I should say shipping in San Diego. But a lot of breweries are shipping in California. For example, Society started shipping in California today. I ordered beers from AleSmith, who's shipping in California. I think there's a 2-week delivery time on that, which I'm not happy about, considering that brewery is maybe 20 minutes from where I live. But yeah, a lot of cool shit happening. So go support your local breweries. And until tomorrow, everybody, we out. Late.